Blue Protocol Star Resonance is finally here, and with it comes a brand new anime MMO experience that combines the look and feel of Blue Protocol with modern gachas and animes. In today's beginner's guide though, I'll be walking you through everything you need to know to start off strong, covering classes, leveling, gear, currencies, and of course, the mistakes you'll definitely want to avoid on day one. But with this, if you enjoyed or learned something from today's video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing you'll do when you enter Blue Protocol is build your character, and here you'll get a lot of freedom. Character creation offers plenty of cosmetic choices, and your first big decision will be your starting class. Roles generally fall into DPS, tank, and support, but Star Resonance adds flexibility with multiple playstyles per class. On top of this, you can also unlock extra classes on the same character later, with the second slot coming in at around level 30. In general though, as with most MMORPGs, you don't need to stress too much about your starting class, just pick what looks fun and forgiving. But that said, ranged DPS and tankier melee classes are typically safer options for beginners. Leveling is primarily done through the main story quests, which are definitely worth sticking with because they not only give you the most EXP, but also help you unlock core features. Side quests and dungeon runs also help fill in gaps, while world bosses and events offer bonus rewards, which you can do during downtime. Traversal mechanics like gliding also lets you cover ground quickly and makes exploration a lot more fluid, which really speeds things up compared to older MMORPGs, but you should definitely try not to fall into the trap of grinding weak mobs endlessly, as this is far less efficient than doing the main story quests or even doing dungeons. With this, you should also expect to unlock important new skills as you climb in levels, and as a result, you should also keep an eye on dungeon reset for easy EXP and progression. Here works with a rarity system with commons, rares, with epics making up your core upgrade path. And on that note, early gear is definitely meant to be temporary, so don't burn your rare upgrade stones trying to max out a low level weapon. Instead, you should save your materials for when you hit the mid game, as that's where enhancements matter a lot more. Junk items can also be sold off, but you should definitely keep crafting materials, as these will become essential for professions and upgrades. The gacha system for now is mostly focused on cosmetics like outfits and mounts, but that said, some players are cautious about companions or gear eventually sliding into the premium pool, so just be aware of where you spend your currency. On a final note, there are some mounts specifically that offer increased speeds, and these can only technically be obtained through premium currency, but since you are technically able to get premium currency even as a free-to-play, this is somewhat of a gray area. So as I mentioned earlier, just be careful with what you spend your currency on. Since this is an MMORPG, social features will also matter. Joining a guild early will give you access to perks, event participation, and a solid support system, and dungeons and raids, which are a core mechanic of Star Resonance, also rely primarily on teamwork with mechanics that can't be brute forced alone. Now, as a positive to this, the community is generally welcoming at launch, so don't be afraid to ask questions or even invite others to parties, and a simple hello will go a long way, and staying active will definitely help your progression, especially if you're a part of a guild. Now let's talk about the currencies. To start, you'll have your standard gold from quests and drops, plus premium gems for cosmetics and convenience items, and there's also a seasonal or battle pass that also hands out cosmetics and upgrade materials alongside various tokens that you'll earn from events or raids. As a rule of thumb though, you should definitely save premium gems for things like account-wide unlocks, bag expansions, or cosmetic sets that you really want. So as a result, you should also be very careful not to use these on consumable or temporary boosts until you have an excess or really know what to do with them. Now, in terms of beginner mistakes to avoid, new players will sometimes see the flashy items or try to waste their premium currency on trivial items like dyes, and with this, one of the best things you can do at launch will definitely be to save your resources. To add to this, you shouldn't spend rare materials on weapons that you'll replace soon as you're progressing straight through the campaign, and although it may feel tempting, you may find some value in avoiding trying to solo everything, as dungeons and world bosses are definitely designed and crafted for groups. Crafting and life skills are also extremely important since they provide you long-term benefits and allow you to make money, but as a final note, you should definitely be mindful of launch events, as it's tempting to chase rare or premium items at launch, but these are definitely not necessary for progress. Finally, as a general note for MMORPGs, don't feel discouraged if your first class doesn't feel right, as you can definitely experiment and swap later, especially with how short honestly the campaign and the overall leveling experience feels. Now, in terms of tips or advice for the long term and not just at launch, you should definitely try to create somewhat of a simple daily routine where you complete your dailies, grab your weekly dungeon rewards, and hit world bosses whenever possible. Setting short goals like unlocking a new class, saving for a mount, or maxing a crafting skill rather than trying to do everything at once will definitely feel more digestible. But to add to this, you can definitely rotate between combat, crafting, and events to keep things fresh. And as always, you should definitely keep an eye out on announcements or patch notes for new classes, updates, or benefits that they hand out to all players. As a final note, although it may feel tempting to just rush through and get through the story as soon as possible, as far as what we've seen from the closed beta, there will actually be a bit of time gating in terms of how much of the main story you can unlock. But that said, you aren't locked out of or incapable of getting levels when it comes to your character, so this obviously means that you may want to invest in mission or do other side quests, unlock crafting and invest in leveling those skills, or just completing achievements or unlocking other exploration nodes on the map. So with this, guys, Blue Protocol Star Resonance is launching October 9th as an anime MMORPG with action combat, lots of exploration, and a monetization system that's mostly cosmetic. Stick to your main quests, don't waste materials on low-level gear, join a guild as soon as you can, and save your premium currency for later. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all in Regnus. Stay safe, stay healthy, good night.